I wanna sing my song. I just wanna run and not be gone too long, 'cause this time is precious still. I wanna keep it close to me. I'm wishing on a star to make more time to see. You can always dream. You can put your life on hold, 'cause time won't wait for you. You can always see what is here in the now, and then you'll find out how to keep dreaming. You can always dream. No one's taken that from you. Only you can see it through, just like the way you do. So feed it from your soul and weigh it from both sides. The fulcrum and the tides will give direction that you'll know. You can always dream. You can put your life on hold, 'cause time won't wait for you. You can always see what is here in the now, and then you'll find out how to keep dreaming. When you make the time, it's a game of give and take. When the balance is at stake, you need to take a look inside. Look deep into your heart and remember how it feels. It's where the answer lies and tells you what is real. You can always dream. You can put your life on hold, 'cause time won't wait for you. You can always see what is here in the now, and then you'll find out how to keep dreaming.
All right, good Sunday morning, Celebration Center. My name is Jay Grenier, and today I will be your host with the most because you're all in front of me. If you're here for the first time, we extend a very warm welcome to you and would love to get to know you. So, if you feel comfortable introducing yourself and sharing how you found us, please do. But if that's really not your style, don't worry. We have some guest cards on the table to your left that you can fill out, and we can stay in touch that way. And if you're online, please shout yourselves out in the chat and let us know where you're viewing from so we can appreciate your virtual presence. You can scan the QR code right here to my left, and you can stay in touch with us that way, even through the World Wide Web. How wonderful is it that we can all connect with each other through the internet? So, before we get started with the vibrant service we have planned for you today, join me in thanking our talented tech crew, Ivor and Aiden. I'd also like to extend a very big thank you to Lynn Hollyfield, our talented music director, and her divinely curated collection of songs. Our platform practitioner today is Irina Kurasiewicz, and Dr. Jim Lockhart will be our guest speaker to tell us what is the divine plan. All right, so get ready for a mouthful. So hot off the press for this week's announcements, we have some exciting things coming up. And today we have another triple treat at 12:15 p.m. We have canapes and coffee. And if there are buns, whether sweet or savory, you know I will be there because I love to eat. So please join us. We also have our community sing-along as well. And if you had the pleasure of being there last time, I think we did a lot more laughing than singing. So make sure not only are you warming up your vocal cords, but you're flexing those ab muscles too, because we will be laughing. And to top it all off, we have Cogno movement sessions with Miriam Katalis today, and she will be doing individualized sessions for $15. And there will be another session on December 8th as well, so don't sweat it if you can't make it today, but I definitely do recommend going. I felt very, very energized afterwards, so definitely recommend. And we have an art party coming up next Sunday, November 17th, and not only will we be making holiday cards and ornaments, but a divine little birdie told me that a karaoke machine just came in from Amazon. So please join us and be sure to indulge in your artistic expression. For reoccurring events on Tuesday, we have gentle yoga with our friend Jen Fay from 10:30 a.m. to noon, and then a guided meditation with Jen and Faith Woods from 6 to 6:30 p.m. On Wednesday, from 8 to 9 p.m., we are also doing a Power of 8 healing circle led by our practitioners. And there's no better way to unwind after the hustle and bustle of everyday life than gathering with those you love in connection, conversation, learning, and good laughs. So don't miss out. And for our daily cadence, we have the chain reaction for peace meditation on Zoom, which occurs daily at 2 p.m. with Irina. And people from all across the globe join this call to recognize and expand the peace that is innately present in our lives. And this link is found in the announcements email and along with all the other Zoom events. And it is an amazing way to tap into what is already inside of you. Other than that, we do have some other announcements. There are some new learning opportunities found on the main CSL page for certificated classes, and you can actually find the link on our website, celebrationcenter.org, and it's located on the home page. And last but not least, I'd like for us all to take a moment and celebrate the fact that Reverend Faith Woods has been elected as our center's minister, which is amazing. Super, super happy about that, and I cannot wait to see what is to come in 2025. And now, I'd like to welcome Lynn for our opening song.
All right. Thank you, Jay. So I hope you'll join me in singing our opening song, I'm Home by Daniel Nahmod. Wherever I am, I'm home. Even when I'm wandering the world alone, it doesn't matter where I go. Oh no,
Even when I'm wandering, I'm never alone. It doesn't matter where I go, oh no, wherever I am, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home.
Good morning, Celebration Center and friends. My name is Irina Kurasiewicz, and I'm Platform Practitioner for today. And I would like to start today from an uplifting story, because I think everyone needs an uplifting story today. The day before election, my friend and I, we went to see the exhibit in the National Gallery. It's Paris 1874, and it's interesting because Reverend Dr. Jim is joining us from France. It's a wonderful exhibit. Washington, D.C. is the only stop in the United States of that exhibit. And it's a National Gallery, which is always free, so please treat yourself and go there. And so we went, we had a lovely time, and then we went and had a wonderful lunch in a cafe with my dear friend, and then I was on my way home in metro. And when I opened my little purse to reach for my metro card, I realized that my wallet was not there. And you know, cards, IDs, all was gone. And well, I called my husband. He wasn't happy, apparently. And I told him, cancel everything right now, right now. And I called the National Gallery, and they said nothing was brought in. You know, we didn't find anything. And the cafe was closed by that time when I was in metro. And I went home. Thankfully, I had my metro card with me, so I went home. And I spent the evening, and Richard came home, my husband, and he said, you know what, it's interesting, but the charges haven't been made. So no one used your cards, because usually if people want to do that, they would do it immediately. And I said, who are you kidding? They opened my wallet. There is military ID that says if you found this ID, you have to return it to DOD, not to me. I said, who wants to deal with DOD? I wouldn't. I said, they took some cash and probably threw away my little wallet, and I was suffering about my wallet because I loved it so much. And the next day, I didn't know what to do. Because then that's what I learned about myself, that I can be it's very easy for me to accept the reality, but it's very hard for me to be in limbo. And what do I do when I'm in the limbo and when it's hard? I talk to a practitioner. And I talked to my practitioner in Ukraine. And I said, what shall I do? And I didn't hear her response. We were exchanging those voicemails. And I didn't hear her response, but something told me, just call the National Gallery. And I called. And the woman said, yeah, I'll go and check. And when she returned, I think she had more joy in her voice than I in my heart. And she pretty much screamed to me, we have your wallet, we have it. And I went to National Gallery, and I picked up my wallet, and it was in a beautiful envelope, all sealed and everything. And of course, I opened my wallet and pulled cash and gave it to the security guard, and he said, I cannot take it. And I said, I don't care. I want you to share my joy. I cannot be so joyful just by myself. I need someone to be joyful with me. And he said, you know what? That I can do. And he took that money. And I was going, I was walking. It was the day of the election. And I was loving the whole world. And I called all my friends, and I said, no matter what, this country, this world is great because of its great people. And what is the lesson? Integrity is the core value of the universe, and support art. Art brings the best out of people. And go to the National Gallery. And with that, let's read our vision. We are celebrating spirit within and knowing the oneness of humanity. And today's reading is by Amit ray, walking the path of compassion. And I invite us all to take a deep breath. And take a deep breath. And just let it be. And I invite you, like that security guard, to share my joy and my peace right here and now when we are listening to the words of Amit Ray. Be the radiator of peace. Go to the center of your inner being and radiate peace in every direction. Our wings are small, but the ripples of the heart are infinite. And take another deep breath. And focus on your heart area. And with every breath you take, expand, feel the expansion of this heart area of yours. Maybe you can feel the warmth in that area of your body. Maybe you can see some light, some color. But just know that yes, our wings are small, but the ripples are great. And I know that God is the creative power, the energy within everything that exists. And I even don't know if it's only power within what exists or something. I just don't know if it exists or not. I just know that there is nothing else but God. And from my heart and my soul, I accept that with great gratitude. I recognize God as love, as peace, as joy, as abundance, as prosperity, and as integrity. As I know that God is wholeness itself. Nothing is missing from God. It's pure wholeness and completeness. And as I know that God is all there is, and all the qualities are equally present in the whole universe, I know that I am, right here, right now, is the perfect expression of the divine. And I'm taking breath to ground myself in that belief. And I recognize my oneness. And from this power of oneness with God, I speak the word about everyone who can hear my voice right now. And for those who will hear it later, or maybe will never hear me, I know that each and everyone is perfect, whole, and complete, right here, right now. And there is freedom always to express the divine truth through our words, through our thoughts, and of course through our actions. And I know wholeness, I know peace, I know joy, I know the new beginnings, I know the old friendships, I know new employment opportunities, and I know the divine expression of talents and skills for so many people. And I know perfect and radiant health for those who are in the hospitals right now or at home not feeling great. And I know peace of mind and love and compassion for those whose loved ones are struggling right now. And I'm so grateful that I have this opportunity to speak the word of truth and to remember that I have wings. Small or big, I have wings. And I know that everyone does. And I'm grateful. And I pray and know that everyone chooses to use their wings to fly high. And in deep gratitude, I release my words into the law, knowing that it's all done in the perfect mind of God. And I simply need to let it go, and I release it easily and effortlessly with joy and gratitude. And so it is.
Okay, I'm going to share an original tune. This is, I thought this would be a good one for today. This is called Cooking with God. Start with a little happy and add a pinch of sad. Be a little sappy, it might make you glad. Put an ample measure of your proprietary blend, a bunch of sweet, a tad of warmth, and your heart's a mend. Forget about the fear, there's no need to run. Grab the wearing blender and add in a ton of fun. Mix a little joy in the bittersweet stew. Spare all the lonely, 'cause I am here with you. Spin your lazy Susan like life's dance floor. Scrape out the fear of losing, that's what a spatula's for. Pour in what you've been feeling, the spices out of yours. You're cooking with God, don't skimp, there's always more. Add a sprinkle of hurt and some laughs and smiles. Not too much sourness, but tons of honey, child. Slip in a lot of silly and a healthy cup of trust. Remember, the secret ingredient is always to stir with love. Spin your lazy Susan like life stands for. Scrape out the fear of losing, that's what a spatula's for. Pour in what you've been feeling, the spices out of yours. You're cooking with God, don't skimp, there's always more. You're cooking with God, don't skimp, there's always more.
All right, at this time, it is my great pleasure to introduce our guest speaker, Dr. Jim Lockard. Dr. Lockard is an ordained minister, teacher, speaker, and author. Although raised in Baltimore, Maryland, he is currently living his best life in Lyons, France, with his wife, Dr. Dorianne Cotter Lockard. They frequently speak at international conferences in the spiritual, educational, and business fields. In 2023, Jim was a keynote speaker at the Unity Convention and spoke at the Associated New Thought Network conference in 2024. For 20 years, Jim served as a spiritual leader in the Centers for Spiritual Living in California, Maryland, and Florida. His blog, New Thought Evolutionary, is quite popular in New Thought circles and beyond. And his past, present, and upcoming achievements are a true testament to his breadth of knowledge and dedication to spreading the love and light that makes up the New Thought movement and foundational principles of our philosophy. So let us all give a warm welcome to Dr. Lockard.
Thank you so much. I'm really happy to be with you again. It's been a little while. And I'm also excited to hear you've got a new minister coming on board. That's fantastic. So good wishes and knowing this spiritual community thrives. I want to say bonjour from France, and it's Lyon, France. I have to make that small correction. They're always correcting my attempts at French here, so I might as well correct yours too. But we are living our best life, my wife and I, and we're really enjoying having this opportunity to have an international experience. We've been here now for 7 years. So what I want to talk about today, I heard you all had an election last week over in the United States, and we did vote and so forth. We're very much engaged in what's going on in America. My wife and I were part of it. There's a group here called the American Club of expats who live here or who visit here frequently. And of course, politics are often discussed. I've heard some people saying things like, oh, it must be God's plan for the way the election turned out. And people say that after every election or any kind of an event like that. Any time of a big life event, often we say, well, this is God's plan, or this is what the universe wants for me, or something like that. And I just want to point out from the fundamentals of our teaching, the basic principles of the science of mind, that would be inaccurate to say. And I just want to point out why and refer to the teachings of Dr. Holmes a bit. Dr. Holmes said, we don't believe in divine plans, we believe in divine patterns. And to understand that comment fully, we have to recognize the nature of spirit, the nature of what it means to be human. And let me give you the condensed version of our understanding of how that creative process in the universe and our humanness and our relationship to the one all comes together. This is taking threads from Thomas Troward and Ernest Holmes and some of the other great founders of New Thought. So in order to create a universe, at least this universe, we know you needed two things. You needed nitrogen and time. Because when the universe began, what we call the Big Bang, which was a great expansion that happened apparently all of a sudden, the only element that existed was nitrogen. And over time, this nitrogen things began to heat up, and the nitrogen began to form more complex elements. You know the periodic table where you have 1 through 100 and something. And each of those elements, as you move up the table, is more complex. And the methodology to build a universe is called evolution. And evolution is where you have something, and it exists, and then something happens to it, and then something new exists. So for example, with our physical universe, in the beginning, there was only one element, then there were more elements. There were no galaxies and stars and planets, then there were galaxies, stars, and planets. And these galaxies, stars, and planets began to collide, began to explode. There was a lot of chaos, and it still goes on today, where things collide with each other, or certain suns, blow up, they expand, they contract, all kinds of dynamic action. And out of this universal chaos, if you will, more and more complexity evolves. You're able to have the elements that are needed to create life. And somehow in an explosion, these elements get blown through vast distances in space and come together again through the force of gravity into some celestial body, like, say, planet Earth. And once planet Earth was here, it began to collect additional elements and so forth from the surrounding universe, the surrounding space. So the craters on the moon are evidence of this. There's craters on the Earth too, but most of them, because of our atmosphere, have been smoothed over. So when a meteorite from some other part of the solar system or other part of the universe would collide, all of a sudden there's some new elements in the mix. And then at some point, life begins. Life begins where there wasn't life, and then there was life. Okay, and that life begins to grow more complex. And we are, on Earth anyway, the peak of this process of complexification, if you will. And that's the physical story. And it's a little more to it than that, but that's a basic idea, right? And this may have well happened in other places in the universe where there is life that may or may not be like us. We just don't know yet for sure. Some of you do maybe, but most of us don't know for sure, okay? So that's one side. That's the physical side, the biological side. The other side of us is the metaphysical side. And the metaphysics of all this, metaphysics, by the way, is the study of the invisible power, the invisible laws behind and in back of the physical universe. So the invisible part of us is that we would call the divine part. The science of mind with a capital M, is is a euphemism, if you will, or a term used to define the creative intelligence of the universe. Some call it God, some call it spirit. There's all kinds of names for it. But there's some essential differences in how we in New Thought see this divinity, this infinite power, and others do. In New Thought, we see the divine power, the infinite expression, God, if you will, as being a force in a sense, being a creative intelligence out of which all things come, but not having a personality. In other words, God is love and law, and the love that God is not the love of romantic love or anything. It's the love of giving freely of itself so that its creation has everything it needs to develop, to grow, to expand, to live. So we would say that let me take it from my side. Within me, I have access to everything I need to be the fullest possible expression of me, Jim Lockard, in this lifetime. It means I have access to everything I need physically, and it means I have access to everything I need mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, if I operate my mental, emotional, and spiritual faculties in alignment with the truth of who I am. See, I also have the power, as do you, to screw things up. I have the power to go against my authentic self. I have the power to sabotage my success. And most of us, probably all of us at some level, have done that. So I want to share this quote with you. It's from Ian Thomas in a piece called "I Wrote This for You." He says, so you look for patterns because that's what humans do to try to make sense of things in hope of some divine order. And you look in movies and songs and the things that you read for symbols, points, and swirls that match your own. But the only real pattern there is the one you make when you hold up a mirror and reflect. See, Ernest Holmes didn't believe that God is a micromanager. Ernest Holmes didn't believe that God is manipulating the universe so that everything that happens is according to some plan. That's called predestination, by the way. And there's been lots of arguments over the course of humankind about is predestination real? What role does it play? How much free will do we have? And so forth. So in a nutshell, a good way to look at it from a New Thought perspective, which you can agree with or not agree with, is that Spirit's role is to create everything and have it available for its creation to use or to actualize. So everything Spirit creates initially is in potential. And what I do, what you do, what every creature, every living thing does, every non-living thing does to one degree or another, is actualize from that potential. And the more intelligent we are, the more capacity to make choice that we have, the more, interestingly enough, we can deviate from that potential in terms of what is really intended for us through us. In other words, I can screw up my life. My cat really doesn't have that decision-making capacity. My cat's going to be like a cat. Cats usually don't make decisions due to lack of self-esteem or feeling like they're worthless or anything. They're just being a cat. And if most cats are like my cat, they believe they're royalty, right? So my cat takes a royal view on its own life and tends to do very well as a cat. I, on the other hand, have made some really dumb decisions in my life that have cost me and have harmed others. And for me to say that was God's will is untrue. God's will for me, if you will, is to be the best version of myself, but it doesn't compel, it being God or Spirit doesn't compel me to do that. Here's another quote from Ernest Holmes from the Seminar Lectures. And the Seminar Lectures were a series of lectures he gave to practitioners every year at Asilomar, the summer conference of religious science, back in the 1950s. He said, God doesn't plan things. God is all that is. An infinite purpose is a mathematical, logical, philosophical, and spiritual contradiction. An infinite purpose is desiring a specific outcome. Therefore, by reason of the very nature of reality, it is necessary that the divine impregnates the human and lets it alone to discover itself. However, the human is still subject to the laws of its being. In other words, I have access to infinite potential relating to me. Now, that's not all potential in the whole universe. That's the potential relating to me, but there's infinite choices I can make, infinite ways my life can flow, my life can unfold. And my life unfolds according to the decisions I make, the thoughts I accumulate, the beliefs I develop, and how I believe reality to be. You see. So, what science of mind can help us do is to come to terms with this reality and the nature of it so that we can make better choices, so that we can create a better life. It doesn't mean that everything that happens is good. You hear that, oh, it's all good. Well, let me talk to that a little bit. That, something tragic happens. Let's say you're texting and driving and you run off the road and you run over a child on a bicycle. And there are people, oh, that's all good. That's all God's will. The child's in a better place now. And, this kind of a rationalization process that goes on in a sense, because we rationalize because we don't want to emotionally deal with what's really happened quite often. What the statement means that it's all good means that there's always potential for growth and development as a result of anything that occurs, assuming you're still alive to do that, right? But it doesn't mean that what happened was good. It doesn't mean that what happened was divinely ordained. You see. And that can be a hard adjustment to make, because in most other religious approaches to understanding ourselves and reality, God is very much involved in the mix. God is very much determining what you decide and what happens to you and what other people do in response to your decisions and thoughts and so forth. But in New Thought, that's not the case. We're actually very close to, there's a religion that's no longer popular that was back in a few hundred years ago called deism, D-E-I-S-M. A deist was someone who believed that God created the universe and then left the scene. And interestingly enough, if you do some research, you can see that many of the founding fathers were deists, which is why they rejected Christianity as part of the development of the Constitution and other founding documents of the nation. Jefferson was a deist, Washington was a deist, Franklin was a deist, and so forth. And so deism said God made everything and left. Well, we don't say that. We say spirit is still a presence and there's still unfolding creation. But the reality is that everything in terms of potential is already created. So I'm not limited to what I can draw out of that potential. I can draw anything that is like me, you see. So what's the full range of possibilities for me? That I can live in great joy or I can live in great sorrow, that I can suffer or I can thrive. And there's a big range in between those. So how I develop my mental process in terms of thinking and feeling and creating beliefs determines where on that continuum my life lands in any given area. I might be thriving in my personal life and suffering at work. It's not just all one thing. So what we teach is to learn to use your mind in an effective way so that you are more and more and more aligned with, my favorite way of putting it is, I want to be aligned with who I came here to be. In a sense of a divine assignment that is not about predestination, but it's about the best version of me. What unique genius, what unique possibility, potential do I have to bring into the world? And it doesn't have to be anything big and grandiose that changes the face of everything. It can be something very simple and very intimate. But to the degree I'm out of alignment with who I came here to be, my life doesn't work very well. And if I don't understand the reason for that, what I often do is I blame out external factors. It's not my fault. It's because of her or him or she or they, right? As Ian Thomas said, you have to look into the mirror and reflect. Who am I being? What am I putting into the world? And based upon what I'm putting into the world, how am I perceiving what the world is sending back to me? Am I perceiving things as they are, or as I imagine them to be, or as I need them to be in order to hold on to my false ideas? So the election, to me, generally speaking, was a result of people being out of alignment with who they came here to be. And the reason I say that is not about specific policies or specific people. There seemed to be a whole lot of grievance, let's say, anger, let's say, feeling cheated, feeling left behind, feeling lost. I didn't see what there obviously wasn't enough people saying, this is what I want. This will bring me joy. This will bring us fulfillment. This will help us create a more effective, successful, loving, and compassionate world for one another. This will protect the children. This will protect whatever needs protecting, you know. There was an awful lot too much of this will show them, you see, whoever they are. And there wasn't just on one side. There was some of that on both sides. I think, you know, without getting into one side or the other, I really think that we showed a lot of our woundedness as a nation. And that's been true for the last several election cycles. And there's always some degree of that. But our woundedness has to do with the fact that we're not addressing our wounds, because the wounds aren't necessarily new. They tend to go way back. They tend to go way back into our history and have been carried forward as grievance, as upset, and also as misunderstanding quite often. So how do we come to heal that? Well, I think we heal it one person, one consciousness at a time. And the value of a teaching like ours is that I can do my work and I can be healed in a world that is unhealed. That doesn't necessarily change the pattern of everything around me, but it does change the pattern of me, you see. And I think if enough of us do that, other people begin to notice. You see, that we used to have a saying, and I'll close with this next idea. We used to have a saying that we you know, I don't know that we still do since we changed the name to Center for Spiritual Living, but back when I began in the teaching last century, we called ourselves religious scientists. I know many still do. And there was a saying they would often say in our classes and so forth, if you were arrested and charged with being a religious scientist, would there be enough evidence to convict you? And I think that speaks an interesting truth. Would there be? You know, and not just that you would have to say you're a religious scientist, but would it be self-evident that you were a religious scientist? I often say, people say to me, I've been into teaching now for 40 some years. And my wife and I, Dorianne and I, have really, I'm just going to be honest, we've embodied this teaching. We do our practices. We've done our practices. We've read the books. We've gone to the classes. We've taught the classes. We've seen healings. We've helped facilitate healings. We've done a whole lot of things. And now we live lives of service for a very long time. And now we're reaping the rewards, you might say. We're retired. We live a good life. We're able to do what we choose to do and travel and things like that. And people often say to me, because I'm on social media and I put what I'm doing and where we're going and things, what do you attribute the fact that you can live this wonderful life, that you can live in France or you can travel to wherever you travel to? And I say, I'm a religious scientist. And, you know, often even among people in New Thought, I get an odd look back. But if you think about it, and my belief is that that's what it's all about. Because if I had not found this teaching, my life would have taken a very different trajectory. I just know that because I wasn't being who I came here to be for the most part. And I've learned to do that. And it doesn't just mean that the what do you call the financial rewards and so forth. I'm talking about peace of mind. I'm talking about waking up in the morning and feeling like you're in the right place doing the right thing. I'm talking about having a sense of compassion for others and not needing other people to change so I'll be comfortable. I can see that other people might need to change so they'll be comfortable, but I don't have that need, so I don't get as upset as I used to get at people being different or being obstinate or whatever. Doesn't mean you don't try to stop people that are being harmful, but I'm talking about that behavior doesn't knock you out of balance, you see. And when I'm in balance, I'm more effective. So I know there's a lot of folks that are upset about what happened in the election. I think it's reasonable to say that there's going to be some tough times ahead because of this election, and also because of the other global issues that may not be addressed as effectively because of this election. So that's what the world we find ourselves in. And the question is not how can I fix the world so much as how can I be in the world and teach others to live in it effectively? And how can we spread the word by example of what it means to live a good life, a healthy life, a compassionate life, and a joyful life? I think that's what it's all about. And I hope you can find that truth in your life as I have found it in mine. Thank you, and namaste.
That was a wonderful talk. So I'm going to sing a song. If you know it, please sing it with me. I'm going to do an old wonderful song by Cat Stevens, Peace Train. Thought it'd be a good one for today. I've been happy lately, thinking about good things to come, and I believe it could be something good has begun. Oh, I've been smiling lately, dreaming about the world as one, and I believe it could be someday it's going to come. Out on the edge of darkness, there rides a peace train. Peace train to take this country, come take us home again. I've been smiling lately, thinking about the good things to come, and I believe it could be something good has begun. Oh, peace train sounding louder, glide on the peace train. Peace, come on the peace train. Peace train, holy roller, everyone jump upon the peace train. Come on the peace train. Now get your bags together, go bring your good friends too, 'cause it's getting nearer, soon it will be with you. Now come and join the living, it's not so far from you, and it's getting nearer, soon it will all be true. Peace train sounding louder, glide on the peace train. Come on the peace train. I've been crying lately, thinking about the world as it is. Why must we go on hating? Why can't we live in bliss? 'Cause out on the edge of darkness, there rides a peace train. Oh, peace train, take this country, come take me home again. Oh, peace train sounding loud, glide on the peace train. Come on the peace train. Oh, peace train sounding louder, glide on the peace train.
Choo choo, we are on the peace train, guys. All right. It has come time to open our hearts and minds to the abundance of this community and share our gifts and offerings. We are a tithing community, which means we rely on the tithes and gifts from our congregation. And that said, we would like you to know that your presence, as well as the love, time, talent, and treasure that you bring, are also gifts to this community. And we are so grateful for all of your donations. So please see a practitioner or member of the board if you'd like to offer any non-monetary donations, whether it be visual or musical. We would love to connect with you on that. And if you'd like to give financial support, there are several ways that you can do so. When you're in the center, feel free to drop your donations off in the basket located on the table to your left. And if you're virtual or prefer digital transactions, you can scan this QR code here, and donating through our website is also an option as well at celebrationcenter.org. And like all of us, our website is beautiful and intuitive, so you'll easily be able to navigate to the Give button on the homepage. And you are also welcome to mail your gifts in and can find our address at celebrationcenter.org. And now, Irina will lead us in our offertory affirmations and blessings.
Well, let's begin with the affirmation. Take a deep breath and please read it with love and joy. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I do give thanks that this is so, and so it is. That was the full affirmation we used to read earlier. We'll invite us all to bless each other. And let's bless the prayer request. And this is the reminder that if you would like to receive a prayer from the practitioners, and please do it. Please do it. Give yourself a chance to experience what it is to be in prayer. And you can do it in several ways. You can leave your prayer request right here in the baskets. You can put your request on the website. There is a special button on our website, which is CCSL. No, don't listen to me. It's celebrationcenter.org. And you always can ask practitioner or minister to talk to you and to pray with you. And then let's bless the donations and the prayer request, as we know that the prayer is answered the moment the prayer was thought about, that request was thought about. And I know that all those prayer requests, they're answered in the perfect mind of God, with abundance, in a law of circulation, in wholeness, and in integrity. And I know that financial donations are generous. I know that the Celebration Center receives this blessing of abundance from all over the world. And the source is only one, and that source is God. But as we know that God is all there is, so that source has so many funnels and faucets. And every one of us is that part of the source, inseparable part of the source. And I declare generosity and abundance for all the members and friends of the Celebration Center, as I know that this center is thriving right here, right now. And so it is.
If you're able, please join me in singing our closing song, the beautiful song "Come Together" by Lainey Bernstein and Michael Gott.
Come together, heart and soul, as we love together. Young and old, we will sing together, together in one song. Come together, from different worlds we are drawn together. In our own way we can pray together. Together we are strong. I see God in you. You see God in me. One path, one vision, one family. We can come together, dreams in hand. We will join together to build a place we can grow together. Together we are home. Together we are home. Together we are home. Together we are home.
All right. Thank you, Lynn. That was awesome, as always. And so I want to remind you that our practitioners are happy to pray with you after service, like Irina touched on. You just have to ask, and it's as simple as that. They would love to do that for you. It is an amazing way to feel connected with yourself and others. And before we wrap things up, I just want to share something quick that I wrote when I was pondering this week's theme of more buns to share. I thought it was a pretty fun theme and got my creative mind working. I wouldn't classify this as an affirmation, so you don't have to repeat after me. It's just a gentle reminder that by being you, there is always more than enough God to share. So let's just take a moment and a breath. If you feel comfortable, you can either soften your gaze or close your eyes and just let everything else fade besides this moment. Because it's all that there ever was, is, and will be, is the moment that you are living in. By knowing that God is all there is and that I am, I can recognize that each living being on this planet is a one-of-a-kind individualization of God, working towards its vision of infinite expansion and freer expression, no matter what it may look like, even if it feels foreign to me. This period of our earthbound existence is not a series of random events, rather a meaningful journey where we can learn lessons, gain experience, and are given the ability and blessing to share our unique gifts with others. And I'm so grateful to be blessed with this awareness so that I can abundantly share my gifts, my happiness, and my light with others. I am so grateful to know that God is always present and has given me my own sense of volition so that I can season my dish, my life, to my own satisfaction. Because I know that when my mind is happy, the world around me, my own personal world, is even happier. And I know that with God by my side, I will always have more to share and more to love. And so it is.